Paul took a deep breath, said, "Mother, you must change a quantity of the water for us. We need the catalyst. Cheney, have a scout force sent out to find a pre-spice mass. If we plant a quantity of the water of life above a pre-spice mass, do you know what will happen?" Jessica weighed his words, suddenly saw through to his meaning. "Paul," she gasped. "The water of death," he said. "It'd be a chain reaction." He pointed to the floor, spreading death among the little makers, killing a vector of the life cycle that includes the spice and the makers. Arrakis will become a true desolation without spice or maker. Cheney put a hand to her mouth, shocked to numb silence by the blasphemy pouring from Paul's lips. "He who can destroy a thing has the real control of it," Paul said. "We can destroy the spice." In Frank Herbert's Dune, the spice melange is an invaluable resource, crucial to space travel, extending life, and enhancing mental abilities. The control and potential destruction of spice are central to the story's political and economic conflicts. In the novel, the Fremen, native inhabitants of the desert planet Arrakis, are integral to this dynamic because of their deep connection with the planet's ecology and their relationship with the sandworms. The spice melange is produced by these worms, and the Fremen possess the knowledge to control or destroy spice production by interrupting their life cycle. This knowledge gives them significant leverage, as without these creatures, there can be no spice. In this video, I'd like to examine Paul's threat to destroy the spice melange, explain how it works, and discuss the changes that have been made to this element of the story in the most recent big screen adaptation. The larval form of a sandworm, called a sand trout or little makers, play a major role in the ecosystem of Arrakis by locking water underground. Dune was once a semi-arid planet with surface water, but the little makers trap the water, leading to the current desert conditions. Also referred to as water stealers, these small creatures seek out and encapsulate any sources of water and sequester it deep below the desert surface. When enough of the sand trout band together at these underground water pockets, the mixture of water along with their spice excretions form a liquid chemical that is fungisoid in nature. This is referred to as a pre-spice mass. This mass produces carbon dioxide that over time builds a considerable amount of pressure to the point that causes it to explode to the surface, killing millions of sand trout in the process. When the substance is exposed to the sun and open air, it then becomes a refined form of spice. If the little makers were to die out, the water would be released back into the underground layers of the planet, significantly altering the climate. This reintroduction of water would make the environment much wetter, potentially causing the surviving adult sandworms to die or retreat to drier regions. In the novel, the Fremen's power to end spice production on Arrakis is explained by their ability to place the water of life in a pre-spice mass filled with these little makers. The water of life is a substance produced by drowning a sandworm. This becomes an awareness-expanding drug when altered by a Reverend Mother. If this altered water of life is poured onto a pre-spice mass, it kills the sand trout, disrupting the ecological balance and leading to a gradual extinction of the sandworms. Although the chain reaction isn't immediate, it would eventually lead to the extinction of all sandworms on Arrakis, thus stopping spice production. The life cycle of the sandworms and their connection to spice production is a closely guarded secret, known primarily to the Fremen. As a result, when Paul Atreides threatens to destroy the spice, those without this knowledge about the sandworm's life cycle might not fully grasp the implications. From their perspective, Paul's threat could seem insignificant because they lack the understanding that such an action would disrupt the delicate ecological balance necessary for spice production. This lack of knowledge could lead to the Imperial Power's confusion or belief that this was merely a bluff due to their underestimation of the threat's seriousness. Paul, with his prescient abilities, could foresee the potential consequences of ending spice production, a vision that the Guild navigators also shared. This foresight made the threat of destroying the spice fields a matter of serious concern for all major powers in the universe. The Guildsmen, who relied on spice for their abilities to navigate space, understood the gravity of the situation. Given their immense power and influence, the Spacing Guild's recognition of Paul's ability to potentially destroy the spice commanded the attention of the entire Imperium. In Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the mechanism of Paul's control over the spice is altered. Instead of focusing on the ecological aspect of being able to destroy the sandworms, the film presents Paul's threat as one of using his family atomics to destroy the spice fields. Additionally, the Spacing Guild's involvement and the explanation of the link between the sandworms and the spice were entirely omitted from the film. While this was disappointing for many fans, including myself, for those who are familiar with the history of this universe, it shouldn't have come as a total surprise. In the past, adaptations of Dune have notoriously faced significant challenges in condensing Herbert's complex narrative into a manageable runtime. The novel's intricate exploration of the ecological and political systems of Arrakis have generally been considered too complex to fully explore within the constraints of a typical film length. By using the concept of atomics as the vehicle to make good on Paul's ultimatum, Villeneuve opted for a more straightforward and immediately understandable threat. This approach required less exposition than explaining the life cycle of the sandworms and their role in spice production. In harmony with the book, Dune Part 2 does show the Atreides family nukes being used to destroy the shield wall, which allows the Fremen and their sandworms to charge in and decimate the Emperor's forces. When Paul Atreides later threatens to use more of these weapons to destroy the spice fields, the audience, who is already familiar with the devastating impact of atomics, can easily understand the gravity and reality of the threat. The use of nuclear weapons is a well-established concept in the Dune universe, regarded as a last resort weapon regulated by the Great Houses under strict rules. These rules specifically prohibit using atomics against humans to prevent unnecessary loss of life. In the story, when Paul uses the atomics on a natural feature of the desert, he technically complies with these restrictions. Similarly, the idea of using them on the spice fields could also be seen as adhering to this rule, as it targets the environment rather than people. Overall, fans seem largely divided between feelings of disappointment and understanding when it comes to the changes made in the Dune film adaptation, particularly concerning the omission of some of the more complex elements from the book. However you feel about the changes, it's clear that the film was crafted with a general audience in mind rather than solely for die-hard fans, which resulted in the simplification of these more intricate concepts. Aspects like the Water of Death and its ecological implications prove to deepen world-building and thematic exploration. However, when it comes to the film format, such complexity risks confusing viewers and disrupting the narrative flow, especially given the constraints of a film's runtime. This is why many fans, including myself, would prefer a long-form TV adaptation of Dune, where these rich and fascinating elements can be more fully developed and explored. But I'm curious to know what you think of Paul's threat to destroy the spice with the Water of Death in the book. Are you satisfied with the changes that have been made to this element of the story in the most recent adaptation of Dune? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support. And as always, have a very nerdy day.